Hi there VC, it's Steve Whitty here with another video, recent listens video number 19. Apologies there weren't a video last week. I'm having a little bit of issues with my laptop which I record the videos on. Seems to be okay at the moment. I may just be able to record it just keeps resetting itself. I think it's on its way out and I'm probably going to have to look at other methods of recording. I've got a camera, maybe get a to sort of download it onto my iPad or something like that. Any advice on that would be gratefully received. As I said, I hope it's a recent listens video. 10 more records that I've listened to over the past few months. I'll show you. I hope everybody's well. Weather's turned a little bit. I've got a bit of a cold. So autumn's here, so to speak. So without further ado, let's show off the records I've been listening to recently. This is Ian Dury and the Blockheads' Do It Yourself. This was the second album released in 1979, and it not as good as New Boots and Panties. I think, in my opinion, that's an all-time classic. Deliberately kept put any of the singles on the albums on this album. So Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick was not included, but also at the same time, that Ian Dury had released Reasons to Be Cheerful Part 3, which was a top 5 hit for him, but this is not included on the album. And say tracks on here, In Between is Quiet, Don't Ask Me, Sink My Boats, Waiting for the Taxi, This Is What We Find, An Easy Sunny Day, Hotty Totty, Mischief, Dance of the Screamers, Lullaby for Francis. It's as I say, it's not as good as New Boots, but it's still a good album. Probably more remarkable, and possibly you could only get away with it in the 70s. This was released with 35 different covers, or sort of like the wallpaper cover. There's 35 different versions. I believe the British comedian Phil Jupiter has got all 35. He managed to track them all down. I'm not going to do that. It's as I say, it's a sort of folly that only could have been done in the 70s. However, there have just been a reissue of this where you've got a box set and you've got the 35 different covers in the box. So you've only got the one record, but you could just put on the front whichever wallpaper that takes your fancy. As I say, if you haven't heard any Ian Dury, that and New Boots and Panties are worth checking out. Faces as not as good a nod's as good as a wink to a blind horse. Classic album of theirs. Got Stay With Me 71. The original Warner Brothers. There's a picture of them live, which is probably where the best seen. The faces were John Peel, the famous DJ, British DJ, said his most famous live concert was seeing the Faces in Sunderland in 1973. I think this was on the back of Sunderland, the football team Sunderland getting to the FA Cup final that year, and everyone was just up for a party, kicking footballs around. There you go. It's a back cover. You can see the horse there. It's good time rock and roll. It's what makes the Faces so good and so, I think, so influential. There are a lot of bands of that ilk. You've got here Miss Judy's Farm, You're So Rude, Long Lived Here, Last Orders Please, Stay With Me, which was the big hit in the UK. Debris, Memphis, Too Bad, That's All You Need. A mixture of cover, actually all original songs. No, sorry, a mixture of covers, because the Memphis is Memphis, Tennessee. Mixture of Rod Stewart and Ronnie Lane vocals. Really is a corking album. Again, I think an essential album to have in your collection. Something that was very popular towards the end of the 80s, Final and Cannibals, The Raw and The Cooked. Second album, and this really hit big. She Drives Me Crazy was a #1 hit in the US, top 10 in the UK. He had Good Thing as well. I'm Not the Man I'm Used to Be was another hit single, and also their cover of the Buzzcocks' Ever Fallen in Love. Dave Steele and Andy Cox had come from the Beat, Roland Gift vocalists by this point. They were just the three, and really never really managed to achieve that level of success. I mean, for a period in like 1989, they could have been the biggest band on the planet. Good album. Yes, it does sound a little bit 80s, but really good. It was produced by, I think it was, if I remember rightly, if I get it out, there's a Prince connection on this. This was recorded at Prince Studios. I'm just trying to think who it was. David Z, that was it. He produced the album, and it's got that sort of sound, that drum sound, like especially on She Drives Me Crazy. An album that I've been hearing a lot about. I finally got round to getting and listening to. This is Spirits of 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus. Partly because I went to some event where it was sort of like playing a lot of music from that period. That and the next album I'm going to show you were featured. I hadn't got any Spirit, to be honest. I was aware of the band, and I hadn't really listened to this album. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, whether I'll go out and just get some more Spirits, if I stumble across it and it's at the right price, I will. There you go. You've probably seen the album there. And this UK on the Epic label, yellow, and it's the yellow Epic label there. Yeah, I enjoyed it. As I said, if I come across it, some more Spirits. I'm not sure whether I'd want to go the later Spirit, but so if I go across that era Spirit, I'll spot it and I'll pick it up. If I see it and it's the right price, I'll pick it up. And for that, also for that period, they played the Steve Miller Band Brave New World, which I believe was the third album, and it was probably because I enjoyed listening to the track Space Cowboy on here. And it's Steve Miller's on here. Obviously, Tim Davis is still on drums. I see a lot of Steve Miller about, and I always think about whether to take a punt with it. And sometimes something else drags me away. It's the sort of like orange green capital label. So I was sort of getting pulled away a little bit from. Yeah, I've got a lot of these 70s stuff, but the 60s stuff, sort of not. And it's obviously I keep being pulled part away from it. Maybe I just need to just bite the bullet and just go for it and just take a punt and just buy it and listen to it, because I actually enjoy this album. Some good tracks. There's obviously Space Cowboys on here. There's Brave New World, the title track. Got Love Because You Need It, Can't Hear You, Daddy's Heartbeat. Some really good stuff on there. So yeah, well worth seeking out. Something totally different, and this is UK Subs. This is Another Kind of Blues. This was released in '79 on the Gem label, through RCA. Get there. There you go. It was also issued on blue vinyl. I didn't think I could afford that. At this point, UK Subs, sort of like last embers of punk, they were having some chart singles. CID was one, Stranglehold was another single. Tomorrow's Girls, which is probably the biggest track on here. 17 tracks on here, sort of fast sort of punk. Still going on. Charlie Harper, I think he's about 70 now. He's still going. He was an old man. He's probably over 70. He was old. He was an old man for punk standards in '79. Their singles at this period are immensely collectible because they were all issued on coloured vinyl. I've got Tomorrow's Girl, which was blue, Stranglehold, which was red. They did an EP, which lead track was She's Not There, which was in green vinyl. Warhead was on like a brown vinyl, and then I think there was another one, Teenage. It was on pink vinyl. Immensely collectible. I mean, expensive, mind. Yeah, but I think as a punk album goes, it's not bad. It's not up there with the classics, but there's enough there to keep you interested, hooked. And again, changing it again. This is Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards. This is an original pressing released on bronze through Island. So it's got an Island record. Let me see if I can show sort of a catalogue number. So it was licensed on bronze through Island. This album contains the song Easy Living, I believe. Yes, it does. I suppose it's got the classic lineup. It came out in '72. It's really actually not a bad album. I think you're looking at a band that's probably at its peak. It's the classic lineup. And I think things were going well. They were having some success in America. They were playing headlining gigs. They were doing well in the UK. It all looked good for the band at that point. I think ultimately things did go awry. Gary Frayne got the sack, and he overdosed. And then David Byron, he got the sack for his drinking eventually. It all sort of fell apart towards the end. But it's a good album. I mean, I've got a couple of them. I don't go out of my way to search for Uriah Heep, but if I see it, I'll pick it up. You might not recognise this cover, but this is actually White Light, White Heat by the Velvet Underground. This is the 80s reissue on Polydor Records. I'll just get the Polydor label. So, it is shown verb, but it is through Polydor. You've got the verb on, but it is through Polydor. It's got a Polydor catalogue number. Why it's got a different cover, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But for the price, I thought I wasn't going to say no to it. And not, the originals do cost an arm and a leg. Second album, Nico had gone. It was the last album to feature John Cale. You obviously got the title track. Everyone knows that one. You got The Gift, which is John Cale. Lady Godiva's Operation. Here She Comes Now. I heard her call my name, and then Sister Ray for the sort of like 17-minute final track. Is it as good as the debut album? Probably not. Something magical about it. But yeah, it's a good album. I've got loaded, so I've got to get the self-titled, which is hard to come by. Again, it's price-wise. You can see the cover there. It's Toy Soldiers, and there's the back cover there. I don't know why they couldn't use the original cover. Maybe licensing, I don't know, or whatever. And then I've got a couple of comps to show before I finish. This one is Frontline 3, and this is part of Virgin Records Frontline series. This is their reggae label, and towards the end of the 70s, Virgin Records got really into the reggae. You can see the slightly different Virgin label, yellow instead of the green and red, which was that period. Was interesting. I've been reading a book about post-punk music, new wave, and I was took on a bit about Public Image, and when John Lydon left the Pistols, he got Branson off sort of way to sort of like help him get him to sort of decide what he was going to do next. Made him sort of like an A&R man for Frontline. So he went off to Jamaica. Reggae is one of Lydon's great loves. On here, you've got Gregory Isaacs, Lonely Girl, Sly Dunbar, My Music, The Mighty Diamonds, 4,000 Years, Iroy, Fire in a Wire, Twinkle Brothers, Jehovah, The Gladiators, Get Ready, U-Roy, I Got to Tell You Goodbye, Culture I Tried, Prince Farai in Dub, Bono Dub, and the Abyssinian South African Enlistment. All tracks that are on albums that were released on the Frontline label. Definitely worth picking up if you see it. It's a very good album, very good comp. And you're probably aware I do like my comps. I picked up a copy of this. This is Picnic, A Breath of Fresh Air. This is an Harvest comp that was released in 1970. So on here you've got Deep Purple, Into the Fire from In Rock, Bartley James, Mother Dear, Bartley James Harvest, Embryo from Pink Floyd, Twisted Track from the Battered Ornaments, Glenn Logie from Shirley and Dolly Collins, The Good Mr. Square, Pretty Things, Son of the Ages, Roy Harper, The Worried Feeling, Baker Lou, Eleanor's Cake, Witch Hater, Kevin Ayres, Again and Again, The Greatest Show on Earth, and then Water by the Third Ear Band, Terrapin by Syd Barrett, Glade Somewhere, Forest, Golden Country Kingdom by Pete Brown and Piccolotto, I think is how you pronounce it, Round and Round, Panama Limited, Black Sheep of the Family, Quatermass, which Rainbow covered on Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, Postcards of Scarborough from Michael Chapman, Maybe My Mind with Egg Tea and Sympathy, and then Oh Gopher by the Edward Broughton Band. Absolute, not a really stonking compilation. So I love these comps from the early 70s. Gets me into access to bands that I would find very difficult to find on vinyl, just because it's rare as hen's teeth, and if I could find it, it'd cost me an arm and a leg. So there you go, VC. Those are my 10 albums that I've been listening to recently. I've been trying to catch up on videos. I know there's this thread going on about Showship Pink. I will have a look at, see if I can get one of those going. Sort of trying to catch up, football, whatever. Just a little bit of life, because I've not been feeling too great. Computer problems. So, VC, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, click on the subscribe button. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Always love the interaction. Feel free to comment. I'll always try and get back to you. So, whatever you get up to this Sunday, make sure it's a good one, VC. And until the next video, keep spinning. More importantly, keep smiling.